Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another special episode of Herschel Talkers. Dogs coming off a huge win over the Florida Gators, 24-17 in Jacksonville last week. Oh, it was so bittersweet. Three straight, 2-0 over Dan Mullen. They look great back in the front of the bus in the SEC East. Please, if you get a chance, hit the like button and subscribe on our YouTube channel, Herschel Talkers. We're also we post on Facebook, 247, and Twitter. This week we got another special guest, return guest, Tony. Tony Butler, big Tennessee fan. He's telling us how everything's going on Rocky Top as they've turned the season around. They're at 4-5. And Georgia hosts Missouri in Athens at 7 p.m. this weekend as Georgia rolls. Hopefully this weekend. We got a big matchup next week against the Barn, Auburn, on the road. So we got another podcast here for you, and enjoy. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another episode of Herschel Talkers. We got our buddy Tennessee Tony, big Vols fan, back again with us. How we doing?
Ooh, good, man. I got red and black on. I just realized that. That's a shame.
Yeah, I like that. And we got Big Sean.
What's going on, guys?
Good. Hey, well, first off, Georgia coming off a huge win last week over the lousy, stinking Gators, 24-17. Sean, our buddy Todd from Columbia, and Big Chris from Atlanta. Where was he from again? Atlanta area? I love that guy. Sean?
From Monticello.
Monticello. We all went down there, stayed in a condo on Amelia Island, got the big win. We all got to sit together, 400 section. It was great. Dan Mullen's a bitch. He's a punk. Don't like that guy anymore. But Georgia looked great. Held on 21 yards rushing. Third and Grantham did great again. Jake Fromm was 12 for 18, right on the money. So it was a huge win. We're back in the head in the SECs. What's your thoughts on the game, Sean?
I mean, it was we kind of needed it. I think that after the performance in South Carolina, and then also, I guess in a monsoon at Kentucky, you had a lot of worries about, where the status of the offense was. The offense didn't necessarily play particularly. They weren't dominant. I mean, they played fairly well, I guess. But, on the whole, it's, a win against a big-time rival. I guess we're in the driver's seat for the East. I guess that's most important, right?
Oh, yeah. And also shout out to Lawrence Cager. Coming off the injury, played great. I think it was 7 receptions for 132 yards. I loved his quote saying, "I thought Florida was DBU" on his Instagram. That was hilarious. So yeah, he definitely earned his transfer. Hey,
yeah, I thought that was the biggest. I thought that was a big difference in that game. Of course, with Cager, man, I was like, from what I've seen of you guys, I mean, he's had some flash. He got injured though, right?
Yeah, in that South Carolina game, separated his shoulder in the second quarter.
Yeah, that's right. I couldn't remember what game it was, but he played good. I think that was the big difference maker. He torched him, the old DBU.
Exactly. Hey, I will say that Tony. I was texting Tony after that, and he said, "Man, y'all gonna beat the Gators. Don't worry about it." And of course, we were real nervous going to the game just after South Carolina debacle, and then Kentucky's monsoon. We only put up 21 points, but Tony, looks like everything's looking good on Rocky Top, 4-4. Turned it around a little bit. Played Alabama, probably the closest they have.
4-5.
I'm sorry, 4-5. And you guys got Kentucky. Looks like a pick 'em this week, but it's on the road. How are you guys feeling going on the road this week at Kentucky?
We haven't won a road game this year. The big win on the road, the last one I can really remember, and if this is, Auburn was kind of flailing last year when we went down there and beat them, but still beat some good athletes at Auburn. I think it's going to come down to turnovers. Tennessee is a team, and when we played, good football, not turning the ball over, we've been more competitive. When we turn the ball over, we don't get competitive. We're just not a team. If you have 2 turnovers, it's really tough to overcome that. So I think it's going to really be down to being physical on the offensive and defensive line, which we have been doing. Offensive line, we kind of regressed a little bit last week with some injuries. Our freshmen, we start 2 freshman tackles, which were 5-stars, and Darnell Wright and Wayne Morris. Hold on one second, guys.
Sure. Yeah.
We started 2 freshman tackles, and Darnell Wright got injured the week before, so we had to do another shuffling of the offensive line. When it finally seemed like everything was kind of coming together with that, and then Wayne got torched the other night. I mean, I started watching him play, and as soon as the snap went off, man, those UAB defensive ends were just smoking him around the corner. I mean, just a straight rush, not even any moves. But I think this weekend, I think it really comes down to no turnovers, and if we can kind of not get killed on the line of scrimmage, because Kentucky is a physical team, I think we'll be fine. I think the team is learning to play more consistent. I think they're biggest thing I think that happened to us is kind of losing some more of the Butch players. To be honest, it seemed like we kind of made a little turn at that point, but still long way to go.
So it seems like too earlier in the year, Darnell Wright was, I guess he was going through freshman growing pains for you, right?
Oh, everybody was. We had no consistency on the line. We didn't know whether we were going to put Wright at guard or at tackle. So as a freshman, he came in and. First he was at left tackle, then they moved him to right tackle, then he tried guard, and he went back to right tackle. So, they've had the kid all over the place, and that's what happens when you have no depth and really no honestly, at the beginning of the season, we really had probably 7 offensive linemen that could play SEC, not even SEC, that could really, maybe make a difference in an SEC game, not against Florida and Georgia and stuff like that, but, some of the smaller schools. And now it seems like all those guys have kind of turned a corner a little bit. But the biggest thing is for those kids to learn how to keep the consistency from week to week to week. And I think, I think I read somewhere the other day, we played 17 freshmen this year that have had considerable playing time. Not even on special teams I'm talking about.
Yeah, and that's, there's always going to be growing pains and stuff, when you've got that many young players. It's just an adjustment across that many levels. But, if you can get continuity across the line, that's probably the fastest way to make your team better, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So I think that's coming across. I'm really happy about how the defense has played. They've actually, the line that we've really done good at, playing, controlling the run game. But the biggest thing I think is a lot of the seniors have really started to step up. We bashed Nigel Warrior last time on this podcast back in September. Right. And honestly, he's playing the best football now he's played in his career. What finally clicked? I have no idea. But now he's playing good football. You also got Darryl Taylor, who's our left end. He's playing good football. You got Daniel Batuli, middle linebacker. He's playing really good. The problem is all these guys are seniors. So, we lose them. Who's going to step up? But I think we have, I like the younger guys. I really think they understand what Pruitt's asking of them. And, and they show up. I like the intensity and things they bring. But, again, this weekend, I think it's going to come down to, I think turnovers will be the main thing for us. If we can turn the ball over less than 2 times, I think we'll win. If we turn the ball over 2 times or more, we lose.
So, Tony, I know you're a big time Gamecocks fan. How'd you enjoy beating Smack Around Gamecocks 41-21? That was probably to me your best win of the year.
Yeah, dude. I actually that was one of the funnest games I've ever been to. I hate those guys, man, with a passion. And I sat lower level under the Jumbotron in the end zone where the visiting team goes out and you can see the fans and stuff like that. So I stayed there and harassed them when they were leaving. I usually don't do that, but as much as you go to Williams-Brice Stadium and lose, Jesus, if you get out of there without, losing your cool, that's a good thing. But that game was just, we played well. I don't think it was as clean as a game as everybody thinks. And I actually told my buddy and my wife this when we were at the game. I said, at one point in time, I said, man, we don't have a punt return every week for a touchdown nor a punt block. And that was 14 points at that point. And I think it was only like a 3-point game. And that would have changed a lot about Carolina's play calling. And in the fourth quarter, Carolina had to go to a basically pass every down offense. And it was easy for us to pin our ears back and go after them at that point. So that changed a lot of the game. But I don't think it was as clean a game as a lot of people, football analysts and everything, thought it was. I think Pruitt came out and said that, actually.
Right. Well, you guys are trending up. So what's everybody's thoughts at 4-5? Kind of turn the season around on Pruitt. Everybody happy with him? He's a little safer now, or what's your thoughts on that?
Man, college football it's a week to week job.
It is.
I mean, it's I hate to say it, but I mean, it's funny because I read every day. I read South Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee, Florida,
Right.
all the teams I love and hate. And you guys are ready to fire Kirby Smart and nail him to the cross or whatever, hang him. But it's funny because I think he's a good coach, man. You guys. But as far as Pruitt goes, I think he needs to win out. If he wins out, I think a lot of good things are going to happen from a momentum standpoint and everything. But if he doesn't win out and makes it to a bowl, it's going to help him. But if he doesn't make it to a bowl, there's going to be some more heat put on it. And the big thing is I don't think he's safe this year now. But I think if we don't go to a bowl, it's going to affect recruiting and everything else. And that's going to affect next year. And season ticket sales are really down. In 2017 we had 92,000 season tickets sold. This year we had 66,000.
Wow.
So don't go to a bowl game and you may see less than that.
Right.
Philip Foreman, my buddy told me this. He actually knows some people in the program, and he's been able to hang out around the VFL's tailgate and stuff like that the past few weekends at home football games. He said he heard it come out of Philip Foreman's mouth that if they don't put some butts in the seats, it's going to be trouble financially because eventually they're going to come into a deficit. And he said that was straight from Philip Foreman's mouth.
Wow.
So, I mean, you got to put, people in the seats, and it hasn't. This is the weirdest year, man, it's ever been. It's like a ghost town when you go tailgate for the most part.
Yeah, well, that's kind of when you separate, real fans from just people that are coming in and, riding them because they're hot. You know what I mean?
Dude, exactly. And I watch them. I've sat there and watched butt whippings. I was there, for you guys stomp us years ago. Got in a little bit of trouble in that game, but
well, I just did, honestly. That's just
But it's the fair weather fans. I mean, I'm a fan whether we win or lose. That's how I am with sports. But a lot of people. But it's expensive. I used to go to every game all the way from Charlotte. My wife and I, we're moving in 2 weeks from yesterday to Jacksonville, Florida. And we're looking at, flying back to games, 3 or 4 a year. But I'm like, I'm not going to spend the money that far away. So I think you have those dynamics that come into it. If a team's not putting a good product on the field, I mean, a lot of these people are traveling. I have family in Memphis that don't come to the games anymore just for the financial aspect of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of that, just to joke with you, we came back from Jacksonville, right around the stadium, man. Not the greatest. I'm not sure where you're staying, so we're at RV with the RV lot, which was a great tailgate. But man, just around the stadium, I'm not sure if that's a rough area, but
yeah, it's completely different, man. It's like I'm moving to Ponte Vedra.
Okay.
So go check out Ponte Vedra Beach and let me know what you think.
Okay.
So it's people in Jacksonville don't go uptown or downtown. Yeah. It's not like that. Like most of the people hang out in Jack's Beach, Ponte Vedra, St. Augustine.
Billy Island's really cool.
Huh?
Billy Island, where we stayed, was really cool. Fernandina Beach. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a lot different. The uptown is not like you don't hear people going uptown. When you're there, and people have already told me that I've met people that I'm going to be working with said, hey, you need to. People go to Ponte Vedra and Jack's Beach and stuff like that. It's not a city like you would like it is here in Charlotte.
How far? Yeah, that actually makes some sense because we've been down to
Yeah, Jacksonville Beach is cool
for certain, but I guess you're just always used to if you're in a major city or whatever, they're gonna have I guess they try to do the Manhattan effect. You know what I mean? Where it's just bumping uptown.
I am 100. I am 1,000% looking forward to not seeing tall buildings and parking garages.
There you go.
I'm totally cool with it being spread out, less traffic. I'm not excited about. I was down there a few weekends ago after I talked with you guys, and I was down there for I forget who y'all were playing. We were off that weekend, and that's why I went down there because we were looking at houses, and I went to a couple sports bars, and during the afternoon, and there was nothing but Gator fans in there. And I told my wife, I said, "Man, this is going to be an adjustment." But I lived in Columbia for 12 years and developed a special hate for them. So if I can do that for 12 years, I think I can do this.
How far are you guys from the stadium, Jacksonville Jag Stadium?
We are 29 minutes from Jacksonville Stadium, and we are 13 minutes from the beach.
There you go. Hey, that's where we're crashing next year, Sean. That's all I was asking. Just play it.
All my buddies are talking about coming to crash and stuff. I'm going to look at it next Tuesday, but my wife and I are buying a boat, and I'm gonna have that down. Of course, you can keep that all year long. So I already got people coming down for New Year's. I think now the count's up to 11 people that are coming down. People are getting Airbnbs and stuff. So it's gonna be a good time. The boat I'm looking at sleeps 11. So
nice.
Yeah, so it's not a small one. It's a fun one. So we think about having like a intercoastal waterway like New Year's, because they do like the intercoastal waterway in Jacksonville on New Year's and Thanksgiving and stuff. They have fireworks on the water and they have a big festival and all that stuff. So it's a lot different. It's more, my wife's done a lot of research on it. It's completely different than how you look at like Charlotte or Atlanta. It's not a city. Even though it's considered a city, it's not. Jacksonville is like small towns or smaller towns within a big city. You see, so you have like the Ponte Vedra people, you have the Nacatee's another one, St. John. So you have a lot of areas that are nice. The county that we're moving into is the cops told us, not the cops, excuse me, the builder, when he found out we were moving, he said, "Hey, you guys need to be careful. Don't go 5 miles per hour of the speed limit here, because the cops will pull you over." And I was like, "Really?" And he was like, the crime rate is so low where we're moving that they have nothing to do, so they pull you over and do, it's like that kind of environment.
Oh yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, I got to slow down.
So you guys, is it got Kentucky? Is it Missouri and
Kentucky, Missouri, and then Vanderbilt? So
those are winnable. I think the Missouri might be tough. They're pretty good at home.
Well, I think honestly and truthfully, man, I think we could win. I think we've figured out that we can bring Garantano off the bench for the most part, and he's serviceable. The other two quarterbacks, man, they just, since we talked last time, they played a lot. Maurer can't stay healthy, but those dudes put the ball in harm's way a lot, and you just can't do that. I mean, Garantano has done his own damage, like the Alabama game, and he threw one last week that he got pulled. That was like, in the red zone and stuff. But at the same time, he's probably gives us our best chance to win now that we're playing like we are. We don't necessarily need a quarterback for these last teams. We don't need a quarterback to come in and throw for 300 yards. We need somebody to throw for 200 yards and no interceptions, a couple touchdowns, and kind of control the game a little bit.
What's still your thoughts on Chaney so far throughout the year?
He's starting to find his groove now. South Carolina game, man, the plays he was dialing up were nice. That you could tell he found a soft spot in their secondary, and he lit them up with that. With quarterbacks who hadn't done anything. But I don't really listen to the fans, because the fans don't really know. I listen to moderators, the people that are around it, and the biggest problem that Chaney had this year starting was the inexperience and the offensive line. They could not find the right combination because of the youth and the inexperience, and we had a lot of players that were playing out of position trying to fill it. So that limited what they could do. And then when we started the season, Garantano just played entirely different than he did going up to start of the season. So that left us the point we really didn't have a backup quarterback. So I think Chaney had to really dumb down his playbook to maybe one page of whatever he has. And then, but now it seems like he's starting to be able to call some plays. But a lot of times, I expect this game this weekend to be very vanilla. I don't think you need a lot of offense to beat them. You just have to play good defense and not turn the ball over. So I don't think we're going to come out and try to score 40 points against them.
Yeah, and then just try to slow down that Lynn Bowden. I don't think he passes too well. He just runs around.
Yeah, and that's the same thing last year. And I hope he plays, because when they put what's his face back there, went to the NFL. I'm having a brain freeze from last year. Who's Kentucky's running back last year? I can't think.
Snell.
Benny Snell. Yeah.
Yeah. So we destroyed Kentucky last year. We beat it pretty good. I mean, we just had a game plan to control Snell, and we did. I don't think he rushed over 50 yards against us last year, and I think they'll do the same. I think that's kind of up Pruitt's, up his alley, because I think they can be one-dimensional. So we just going to have to play. I think you have to watch too, man. These young guys, they got to stay in their gap. They can't, and that's what they've been doing good at. But they're not getting pushed out of their gap and stuff like they once were. They're playing a little stronger, and that's big this weekend when you're playing against that Wildcat and stuff. Is to stay in your gap.
That's right. Good deal. Well, I hope you guys can pull it off, man. Being fellow guys in the East, I wouldn't mind you, pull it around. I think if you give Pruitt some time, just being a Georgia fan, I think he can turn it around. You guys
if anything, I'm not going to sit there and say, if Pruitt can ever be a national championship coach or an SEC championship type coach or anything, but I think if the way it's going, I think if we can win out, I think we'll finish with a top 15 recruiting class. If we win out, top 15 recruiting class with some good coaches come in next year. The schedule's a little bit tougher next year, but I think things will start moving the right way. We'll have a lot more experience next year, a lot more of Pruitt's players in there, and just continue to build. I mean, it's honestly, I tell you this, and I told y'all this before. I mean, you're looking at really 2 to 3 more decent to strong recruiting cycles, right, to be to be back really competitive. And I told people this the other day. We were talking about it, and I said, Tennessee needs to forget about beating Alabama and Georgia and Florida, because we don't beat those teams anymore. And I said we need to focus on beating all the scrubs first, including, so we can get out of the scrub area and start focusing on other teams. So right now we're kind of considered really, I'd say we're a bottom tier SEC football program anymore.
All right.
So when we start beating the scrubs and move to the middle of the pack, then we can start focusing on getting, to the top of the pack. But we'll see, man. I wouldn't want Pruitt's job, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah. All right, good deal. I agree with that. I think, I always respect you being realistic, Tennessee fan, and not, I think you call him Sunshine Pumper, so you're always realistic.
Yeah, I always do. I'm a realist.
So Georgia's got Missouri coming to town this week. Last time I looked, it was, I think, a 17-point spread. Got a night game. They got Kelly Bryant. He's probably going to play, but I think he's been having hamstring issues.
Yep.
But, what's your thoughts on that coming from a neutral fan?
Oh, man, y'all ain't got to worry about it. Y'all gonna, I think this
they're a bad road team.
Yeah, this win for y'all this weekend was really big. I think you could have. I told you this last week, Trey. I thought if y'all lost that game that y'all would lose to Auburn too.
Yeah.
And that would put y'all at 3 losses, a bowl game you guys ain't wanting to play in. I think it would have kind of
Outback Bowl.
Yeah, and this season may have spiraled out of control at that point. But now I think that your goals are still in front of you. Alabama. I think Alabama's going to lose this weekend.
Oh, we're going to get into that, but okay.
Yeah. So I think it's kind of going to put y'all, back to, where you guys, need to be and stuff as far as, playing Alabama at the end or LSU. And, I think you have the talent. Kirby does have to loosen up a little bit with his play calling.
Mm-hmm.
But, good athletes, good game play. One thing you can say that I say about Georgia teams under Kirby is they're tough. They're athletic, they're fast, and they're tough.
What I've been impressed with is a stat that came out. I guess they've been, over the last 20 years, you probably heard that stat, not giving up a rushing touchdown this far in the year is pretty impressive.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, somehow.
Still standing. I knew that was standing when we played y'all.
Yeah.
We didn't get one, but that's still standing now. That's impressive.
Yeah, it is. Our D-line, that was supposed to be one of our weak points this year was the D-line, because we had some guys coming back in the real young, but he's got bend, don't break. I feel like we don't have like Roquan Smiths running around, any of these big NFL guys. Everybody's just solid, good, and we're deep, and they all, play great defense. And of course,
kind of like Duke basketball.
Yeah, I can see that.
Duke doesn't have any superstars, but they'll get back to playing like tough, and I agree with that 100%. What you're saying, Trey. It's seems more just maybe a bend don't break philosophy, but it's still good enough to win big football games. You guys have seen that. So I think all your goals are in place, man. I think, you guys can still end up in the college football playoffs. Anybody at this point besides Clemson, because, Clemson, I told, a guy walked me at the bar the other day at Trey at Slade uptown. He had Clemson stuff on. I said, hey, man, come here for a second. He walked out. I said, are you guys going to play Audrey Kell anytime soon?
There you go.
And he looked at me, and I said, no, I'm serious, And my wife's like, you'll say anything to anybody. And I was like, what's the truth? Yeah. Those guys have not played anybody all season long.
Oh, yeah, I agree. And then they got scared by UNC real bad.
Yeah. They play. And what's bad is the primetime ABC game this weekend is Clemson and NC State.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Because they had to put Clemson on, I guess. That's going to be exciting to watch.
Oh, yeah. So, Sean, what do you like to see this week? We got Missouri, hopefully not a letdown game coming off an emotional win. What do you like to see?
I think I want to continue to see us progress offensively. I'd like to see us be able to move the ball through the pass, and obviously just kind of avoid injury.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. My prediction is something like 31-10.
Yeah.
But yeah, just stay healthy. I think we're gonna wreak some havoc on Kelly Bryant. They got a tight end that's pretty scary. We've been struggling against tight ends. He's like 6'6", 6'7". We can contain him, but I think it's just gonna be business as usual. Kirby said we've had some good practices this week. It's gonna be cool. I think it's gonna be like high of 50s, maybe low of 30s. So that'll be good. No cramping and no bad weather. LED lights going. I think the crowd's gonna get up and take care of business. I am saying I'm a little nervous about going to Jordan-Hare at Auburn next week. They got a great defensive line. I think it's going to be hard fought. Plus, Kirby hasn't won a road West game yet, so hopefully he'll break that streak. But that's the one I'm worried about the most is the Auburn game.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough one. But like I said, I still think you guys will win that one.
All right, then looking at, they got the huge battle, LSU on the road at Alabama. It's Alabama minus 6.5. So if you were a Georgia fan, Tony, who would you rather play if we do end up winning out and playing an SEC championship game? Who would you rather play, Alabama from LSU or LSU?
Honestly, right now, Alabama.
Yeah, I agree.
Alabama's defense is very successful, and a lot of points. They didn't even, it was almost a one-score game with us. If Garantano wouldn't have tried to skyrocket over the line, I don't know.
He went rogue. Hey, did you ever hear what exactly he was thinking? Did he just see something audible and tried to just?
Yeah, he audibled and didn't tell anybody. He thought he saw something and could pull it in and get in there somehow. I don't know. He screwed up, man.
Left on the sideline.
Yeah. So he actually, the good thing is, and this didn't get out, much, but he actually went into the players' locker room, I think it was Sunday or whatever, and he got in front of everybody and said he apologized, and he made a bad decision. It cost him, and so he's not a bad kid, man. I like him. I think when he comes off the bench, he plays better. He doesn't have everything on his shoulders, and he can be coached hard. Like Pruitt stays on his ass. I don't know if I can say that. Pruitt stays on his ass. Pruitt stays on his ass, but he takes it, man, and he says that Pruitt coaches him hard, and that's how he wouldn't expect anything less than a head coach. So it's good to hear him say that. He's a tough kid, man. He gets hit and beat around, and and Tennessee fans hate him. When he came on the field a few weeks ago, it's the boos started, and this was in the first quarter playing South Carolina, and I was sitting there thinking, how you could boo your own team, baffles me, But he puts up with it, he keeps going, So it's just hopefully he just continues to play within himself when he's in there.
Hey, we were booing. Kirby was getting booed in that Kentucky game. Run.
That's crazy. You know what? I wish for one season. Well, actually, more probably, you guys. I wish for one season y'all could experience what we've experienced last 10 years. Just one season. Or no, half a season. Right. Just experience 3 or 4 game stretches like we've had in the last 10 years, and I bet you'd see Kirby Smart like a god in the background.
Hey, we had Rick gave us 2000? What was that? 2010, 6-6 when we lost in the Liberty Bowl. That was a bad year.
Yeah, but y'all had a lot of injuries that year too, right? That was when Murray was there, correct?
Yeah, he was a true freshman. We had AJ Green. Yeah.
Yeah, when y'all were, I forget who y'all were playing that year, but that week, but I think it's after you played us and some people got injured, but y'all were playing with like walk-on wide receivers almost, like freshman wide receivers and stuff. So I think y'all didn't have the depth really at that point, but you got to go back to the Donnan days to be miserable like we are now.
Exactly. But at least you've seen a national title since you've been alive.
That is true.
That is true.
Yeah.
We've sniffed one, never won one.
I got a guy that goes to the gym. He's a Georgia fan, and we talk about it all the time. And before the season, I asked him, I said, "Do you think you'll win the national championship?" He says, and he's an older guy. He says, "Man, I don't even think about that anymore." He says, "It's a good football team is all you can be happy with." He was like, "There's only one team a year that can win it." He said, "And I don't think in my lifetime will ever be Georgia." And he's probably in the 60s, but he's a big fan. He comes in on Saturday mornings. He's got his orange shorts on, shirt, and all that stuff. But he's a good guy. But he says, to win a national championship, and nowadays it's different because, like I was glad to see them not put Clemson in the top 5, but it doesn't matter because Clemson's still going to be able to get in there. They'll be in there after this weekend, and they probably won't lose again, so they'll be in the playoffs, and I just don't think that's fair to a lot of teams. I think a lot of teams in the top 10 can beat Clemson.
Yeah.
But
So Sean, Alabama favored by 6.5. What's your prediction? Who do you think's going to that one? LSU. Game of the year.
I agree with Tony. Actually, I think Alabama's defense, LSU's defense isn't really much to write home about either, but they do have the secondary at least. I think I think Alabama's defense is a little more suspect. I think that LSU is going to be harder to game plan against because Alabama hasn't really seen this variation of their offense yet. That's actually part of why I would rather play Alabama over LSU because just there's not really any like familiarity with their scheme or anything else like that.
Yeah.
I think their offense would honestly and truthfully, I think their offense would walk up and down the field on Alabama's defense. I mean, I really do think they could put some big numbers up on them.
Do you think how healthy do you think Tua? He's supposedly practiced, but coming off this ankle injury, it's going to be a little tender. And if you're LSU, do you go after him? Maybe try to get a little late shot in there and hit him, go low. Just saying.
Well, my honest opinion, I say you do that anytime in any game to any player. It's a sport. I mean, I hate to say that, but if I was playing and I knew an All-American quarterback was there and my team had a chance to win, I mean, that's just how sports are, man. It's competitive.
Yeah. And then another thing I didn't realize that
hit him hard.
Oh yeah, I didn't realize that Alabama and Brian Denny has won 31 straight and hasn't lost since 2015, and it was the 5 turnover Ole Miss game, which is crazy. It's 2019, man. So that's another thing. I mean, if you're a betting man, it looks like that 6.5, but it's just hard to go against Saban. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'd love to see him. Here's the other question. All right, so the top 4 is last night. It was Ohio State 1, LSU 2, Bama 3, Penn State 4. Bama hasn't played anyone with a pulse. If they somehow lose this one, does this kind of knock them out of the playoff race the way it is? Because think about it. Maybe they're out of that. They don't make it to the SEC championship game. Do you think they maybe are not even invited in the top 4?
I think I don't know, man. It depends. Because you got to look at you guys too. If you lost to South Carolina, they lost to LSU. Which one's better at that point? If you're talking about one-loss teams at that.
I was talking about, let's say they didn't make it. Let's say LSU wins out, and then they play us, and then they got one loss. Do you still get them in the top 4? Kind of like 2017.
So they'd have one loss, not playing in the SEC championship.
Yeah, and you know how they kind of came in the back door in 2017. I know a lot of stuff still has to go on.
I think it depends.
That was their only top. That was only like their only top 10 team they played. I think they're going to play Auburn, but Auburn could be 8-14, 9-3 by then.
Yeah, honestly, I think it depends on who wins out and who doesn't. I think you got to compare it at the end. It's hard to say because, you could have – if you guys go in with a one loss and Alabama has one loss and you guys are playing the SEC championship and you win it, over LSU, then everybody's got one loss.
All right.
Who you pull – I guess at that point you would pull you and LSU in, but can you – I don't know, man. That's what's hard to tell with the way the college football the way the playoffs are. It really is. It's hard to because there's no like set in stone. How you get in and how you don't. And they keep talking about this eye test. That gets me, man.
Yeah.
So
I just know we got to win out to get in. Any loss and we're out. We're looking at Sugar Bowl or whatever it is. So.
Oh, poor things.
Hey, we're ready to win one, Tony. It's time. It's 38 years, 39 here. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, I would rather be in your situation than my situation. I'd give that national championship up right now to have since the 2001 season. When we lost LSU in the SEC championship game, and you guys beat us that year last second with Mark Richt's first year and David Green. I would give anything to have the run y'all have had. I would give up a national championship. A national championship comes and goes, but I've spent a lot of years in my adulthood going into my 50s that has been a lot of painful times in the fall. So national championship ain't all that.
Exactly. Hot boot. Hey, but then you got us back with that Jennings pass, man.
Yeah. Well, you've had some good times, man. And it was like I think we talked about it last time, but that Jennings pass, and then I forget what year it was. I think it was maybe 2006 or 2007. We went there, and it was a high-scoring game. Angels playing quarterback. I was there at that game. We ended up winning we were down and we came back, I believe.
Yeah.
And beat you guys, and then and then of course the comeback in 2015 or 16 when Dobbs, we wore those gray uniforms. So we've had some time. I think we've had more success against you guys in Alabama or Florida, which is strange, but it's just not consistent, And you guys have drummed us too many times along with Alabama and Florida, and I think that's what Tennessee fans just get tired of is the point difference of how we get beat a lot.
Right. Do you think Muschamp's pretty safe at South Carolina this year? Well, are they 4-5?
Yeah, I don't know, man. It depends on how he finishes out. I talked to a buddy of mine the other day, and he said he's starting to hear people are thinking it's, maybe time. But I'm thinking, who are they going to get? What do they think South Carolina is supposed to be? That's what, well, Tennessee's in the same program now, the same position. I mean, we're not going to go out and get a big-time coach. Stop. We're not going to go out and get a big-time coach right now. I mean, it'd be too much of a battle for those guys. So, I mean, I think they should just stick with Muschamp and give him time.
Oh, yeah.
But he said that he feels like he's going to get some heat towards the end of the season.
What do you think, Sean, on South Carolina? Think they should keep him?
Yeah, I mean, Tony hit the nail on the head. Who are they going to get?
Yeah, I know.
There's really nobody.
It's a very attractive job.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, especially in such a beautiful town too. Talking about Jacksonville, dude. Columbia's like the armpit of the South.
That's what we were saying too. I was like, this stadium is about as bad as yeah, I know. I don't want to talk about it too bad, but let's just say the only reason why I go to Jacksonville is Georgia, Florida. But
you haven't been though. That's the thing. When you go back, you got to try some different areas, man.
I agree. We usually get right around the stadium and we're tailgating, But Amelia Island is nice. I will say that we've had good times there.
It's more beach area, not city.
Right. So another, I guess, rumor in the press, or not rumor, but something happened. So Willie Taggart got fired, probably well deserved, from Florida State, and they've been having some names getting popped around, rumors. I wanted to throw one at you, Tony, because I know you guys had, guys had experience with him. I heard Lane Kiffin's name, and I've heard Bob Stoops. How about Lane Kiffin over there? Where's he at? Florida Atlantic or Florida International? I know you love that guy.
Man, no, I don't have it. If Lane would have stayed, he would have. I think he would have done well at Tennessee. I don't know if he'd won SEC championships, but I mean, he did good his first year. I think he was just young at the time, didn't really handle that. But I think if he got a program like Florida State, I think I would roll the dice with him. I would roll the dice with him before I would Mark Stoops.
Or is it Bob Stoops?
Mark Stoops.
Okay.
Right? Taking it back?
It's Bob, though, isn't it? Mark said Kentucky, right?
Yeah, that's what. So when I read that the other day, holy crap! So they're talking about Bob Stoops.
That's right, isn't it, Sean?
I think they're talking about Mark Stoops.
Yeah, they're talking about Mark Stoops.
I was thinking Bob from Oklahoma coach.
No. They're talking about because another thing is somebody talked about Tennessee this week with Kentucky hearing all those rumors, how it would affect the players.
Okay. Well, yeah. I whiffed on that one. I just heard Stoops.
Yeah.
Well, Scott Ray has got FSU nearing deal with Bob Stoops to become next head football coach.
It broke up. What'd you say?
So I was reading right here. It's got FSU nearing deal with Bob Stoops to become next head football coach. That's what it's saying. Just Googled it. USA Today. Looks well. It's got now USA Today. That was a day ago though. I don't know. Depends on what the update is. I hear in rumors. Of course, Urban Meyer's getting looked at for USC job, but I believe it's Bob.
It is. It is. You're right, dude. Now I would take Bob Stoops over Lane Kiffin any day. If Bob Stoops go to Florida State, he'll have them a powerhouse again. There's no doubt.
Yeah, Sean, does he have any ties to Florida area? What was his before?
He was defensive coordinator at Florida State for years under Spurrier.
Does that make sense, Sean? Bob Stoops.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. Like, let's talk about it.
It's a rumor. It's a rumored name.
I feel like his name is one that's perpetually going to get thrown out there just because. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's almost like Urban Meyer.
I think he's going to USC.
Yeah, I think so too, man. And he'll do well at USC. So there's going to be some more.
And then he'll have some health problems in about 5 years, right?
As soon as all the allegations pop up.
Yeah, they'll go on probation again.
Yeah.
Have Reggie Bush come back like running back coach or something.
That's Urban. That's Urban though, man. But you know what's funny is if I'm USC and I'm looking at that of what they've been through, I'm wondering if that's the best thing, you know. But
hey, we're joking about this though. What we do for a national title? I think Sean joked around one time. All right, how about Tony? If he goes, all right, I'm coming to Tennessee. You might have some allegations, but we'll get you in that natty in 5 years. Would you take him? Think about you got to think you enjoy that 5 years though. Would you take him? Might get a little.
What are the allegations?
I mean, you don't go on probation or anything, but you know, he'll. I don't know. You just get a little slap on the hand. You know, you might have a guy show up with some M16s on campus. You know, lose the program. Just maybe lose the locker room. But hey, he'll probably get you that natty in the second or third year. Might get a little muddy. Would you do it though? Think about it. 5 years. 5 years of glory.
If you can have top 5 classes every year, win a national championship, you have enough talent, you can handle some attrition. I'd take that.
But after 5 years, it might get a little spotty.
That's all right. Probation doesn't last forever.
Exactly. Ask for permission, not forgiveness. Right?
Yeah, exactly. That's right. Yeah, I agree. No, I think also it could go either way. I was talking to another guy, a friend of mine, about this today. But with paying these athletes now, we were talking about whether there's so much cheating that goes on in college sports, man. And you guys know that. But I think paying the players, it could really clean a lot of that up, or it could get more corrupt. Depending on how people go about it and so forth. I do think it's going to create a recruiting advantage for a lot of schools, that have money. It's funny, I read about Tennessee, and then I hear about that today, but Tennessee article talking about, how much of an advantage it would be for a school like Tennessee, because for Nike, we're like one of the top 3 highest sales for a college football program for Nike.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that. Is it the only you guys can get the Peyton Manning jerseys, or can you get other players' jerseys? Is it just 16 still? Did I hear that a year ago?
No, they changed it. I actually, when I was up there for South Carolina game, I bought a number 1. So they've changed that. But I think they'll start having to pay players for that now, with people picking them, wearing the jerseys and stuff like that.
Do you think it needs to be capped for the bigger players for this to happen? Maybe like a cap, like you can get so much?
I don't know, man. To be honest with you, I don't know what I just want NCAA football to come back on PlayStation. That's all I care about right now with that.
I know a lot of people, is it EA?
Yeah, man. What's so funny is I still have that game, and this is the first year I haven't, downloaded new rosters from, the people that do them and play seasons. But this summer I bought, I told you about that. I bought it last spring. I bought a PS4. So I've been playing NFL football. On that, but I would love to play college again. It's pretty cool because at the beginning of this game, you can play like a franchise quarterback guy, and you can actually, play the college football playoffs with a series of, you can pick from like 8 different teams: Florida, Oregon, Oklahoma, Florida State, teams like that. And if you win, then you get drafted and you kind of play it. So I did that. It's pretty fun. But, there's nothing like the college football game when it was on EA Sports, though. That was one of the best games ever.
Did you ever get to play that one, Sean? I know Sean plays video games sometimes.
Yeah, actually, me and Patrick and stuff. You'd have tournaments with it in college and stuff like that. It was awesome.
Did you ever get to play with Georgia?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, man, that game. I remember when I would go to like the GameStop and stuff to buy it. It always came around my birthday on July 16th. So I'd always take a day or so off of there. But it started getting so busy, and the big thing to do, they would start selling it at 12 o'clock in the morning, like midnight when it got released. So people would start going there tailgating like 7 o'clock. I lived in Columbia, South Carolina at the time, so we'd go there, and people would set up TVs, and you'd play like the last year's game and stuff. So it became a pretty big thing for a while, and then it ended up, they took the game away. But it's fun. It's fun to play, man. Especially like college sports kind of puts you in it on that aspect a little bit.
Right. Well, on a side note, you watching Tar Heels tonight when they play?
I am, man. My buddy was just texting me and asking me,
Okay.
was I watching because they're getting to start. So I'm going to check out and see what those guys got this year. I'm excited to see what's his face. Cole Anthony play.
Okay. Sounds good. One last thing. Who do you like in the who thinks the front runner in the Heisman?
Man, I hate the Heisman Trophy. It's just they screwed Manning out of it. I don't know, man. I
think Burrow or Tua, whoever plays well this weekend.
Yeah, I'll probably lean that way. That's kind of what I thought. Sit here and trying to think of somebody else beside one of those two, but I mean, I don't think you can. I mean, Tua's stats are too solid, and Burrow's numbers are crazy. So it'd be hard to pick outside of one of those two guys. I think whoever wins this weekend probably has the leg up on it.
Yeah, there you go. Any thoughts on that, Sean? How about Fields? Maybe fell back a little bit. Justin Fields.
I don't know. What do you think, Sean?
Hey, is he there?
He fall off.
Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, all right. Well, you got any other questions for us on the way out, Georgia fans here? Oh
No.
yeah, when you moving?
Moving 2 weeks from yesterday. So, I'll be down there officially 2 weeks from today.
Okay, awesome, man. Well, good. How's the moving coming along? You gonna have some moving trucks or? I know that's all.
That's right. He's probably gonna carry everything by hand down there.
Okay,
Dude, I got a company coming next Sunday, packing up our house. I'm not boxing anything.
Nice.
And they're picking. I got a moving company is picking everything up Monday, and they'll have it there Wednesday morning at 7 o'clock. So
That's the way to do it.
I'll be dragging around just a few pieces of clothes, and we'll have a blow-up bed to stay on for a few nights while we drive, down to Florida and everything. So a lot going on.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good deal. Hey, well, we appreciate you coming on again.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I always love it, man. Anytime you guys want to talk any kind of sports, man, I love that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, buddy. Hey, go Vols then.
Yeah, man. Hey, y'all beat up Missouri good. Get them ready for us, so whip them good.
Okay, we will.
All right, man.
We might try to check out Kelly Bryant.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm talking about.
All right, buddy.
I just didn't want to say that on the podcast, but that's what I meant.
No, you can do that.
All right, yeah. Get him good. Go after that ankle this weekend, please.
Okay, we will.
All right, man.
All right, buddy. Thanks.
Yep, bye.
All right, buddy. All right, that's the Herschel Talkers, and we're out.